Hello, I'm Julia Harrison. I'm the project manager for the southern part of the Celtic Rainforest Life project. There's such a lot to say about this project that I might talk a little bit fast, so apologies for that. But first of all, just to introduce the project, I'll run through some basic facts. The project won a bid for European funding in 2018 for €9 million or £7 million. The European Commission provides 60% of the total budget and the Welsh Government is contributing £2 million. The project's run by a partnership of organisations, so the lead partner is the Snowdonia National Park Authority, which looks after the northern area, and the RSPB focuses mainly on the southern part from the Mawddach down. The Woodland Trust is the third main partner and they contribute across the whole area. Then we have two other contributing partners, Natural Resources Wales and Welsh Water. So the project's aim is to restore some very special ancient oak woodlands across Wales. These woodlands are in 5 different special areas of conservation, or SACs. The most northern is Eryri, up in North Snowdonia, where we're working in an area around Nant Gwynant, just north of Bethgelert. Then there's the Meirionydd Oak Woods SAC, which comes down to the Mawddach estuary around Barmouth and Arthog. There's Coedwigoedd, which is that little blob in the middle, which is a comparatively small SAC just south of Machynlleth, opposite RSPB Ynys. Then there's the Elam Valley down near Rhiadr and the Mynydd Machlein SAC just northwest of Llandovery, which takes in RSPB Gwenfryd Dinas and the Cothi Valley. So it covers a large area, but it focuses on woodlands across these areas. We're calling them the Celtic Rainforests because they're temperate rainforests and because although patches of this type of woodland can be found in the Lake District and on the west coast of Europe, they actually do occur mainly in Scotland and Wales. It's a type of habitat which is even rarer than tropical rainforests, but like tropical rainforests, it's a particular hotspot for biodiversity. They occur in Wales because the winters here are not too cold and the summers are not too hot. So they're mild, humid places. This slide shows a typically misty scene in Nant Gwynant. There's also a lot of rainfall and the humidity from the rain and from the many rivers that run through these woods is kept in by the tree canopy. So they're damp, cool places full of lush, wet vegetation, even in the middle of summer. This makes them ideal for a rich diversity of ferns, lichens, mosses and liverworts, including many very, very rare species. I'm really conscious that in one of the woodlands where I'm working, there's a lichen that only exists in 4 other places globally. So we've got to be very careful we don't knock it off or anything. It's a 7-year project running from August 2018 through till July 2025, which is an unusually long for a funded project. This is because the main work of the project involves getting rid of rhododendron and other invasive species like Japanese knotweed, and this is often something that takes 5 to 7 years to do. Rhododendron is the single biggest threat to ancient oak woods in Wales. I'm sure I don't need to tell everyone about the evils of rhododendron, but I will just quickly run over some of its worst properties. One flower can produce thousands of seeds, which travel for miles along watercourses and roads, etc., and gets blown in the wind for miles. When it gets established, it can absolutely smother the forest floor with dense shade and thick leaf fall, so it stops woodlands regenerating, which is a worry for the future of the woods. Birds and animals don't like it. Most woodland birds like an open structure to a wood, and then nothing really eats its leaves. Even soil animals don't like it. Studies have found that an area that has been thick rhododendron for some time has 60% less earthworms than other soils. For Wales's rare and precious mosses, liverworts and lichens, which prefer an open woodland where dappled light can reach the rocks and tree trunks and branches that they grow on, it's a disaster. So the Celtic Rainforest has pledged to get rid of it in the 5 SACs I mentioned, but there's no point just getting rid of it in the woods if it's all the hillsides are full of rhododendron, it will just seed straight back in. That's why we're also clearing rhododendron from a buffer zone around the woods. In some cases, it's an area of around 1 kilometre around the SAC, but in other cases, it's the entire catchment area of the river that runs through it, because we know that it's carried long distances by streams and rivers. In all, we're looking to clear nearly 8,000 hectares of land of rhododendron and other invasive non-natives, which is pretty ambitious. This satisfying slide shows some dead rhodo and Comanian after phase 1 treatment. And so far, 641 hectares of SAC, 2,488 hectares of buffer have been first phase treated. But getting rid of Rhody is far from being the project's only aim. We're also doing woodland management, including PAWS, plantation on ancient woodland sites restoration. This slide shows a trapped oak tree surrounded by conifers in a plantation. Most of the pause work restoring ancient woods from conifers is in Meirionydd and is being carried out by the SNPA, whereas in the south we're working on restoring woodlands where other types of changes in management have had negative impacts. In the past, around the sort of 1980s, changes in agricultural practices put too much grazing pressure on woodlands. The traditional farming cycle of using the woods for grazing and shelter in winter and then taking the livestock out onto the freed in summer has been disrupted, and many woodlands were overgrazed. Overgrazed woodland, like in this slide, has little diversity in ground flora and becomes dominated by 1 or 2 species of moss, which the animals don't like to eat. As a response to this problem, landowners were encouraged to fence out woodlands and exclude livestock entirely. But of course, once you do that, with nothing to eat or trample it, quick growing vegetation like brambles and bracken, like you can see on the left, or dense tree regen like the big thickets of birch you can see on the right, can come to dominate the understory and ground layer. This hinders the development of diverse ground flora and shades the best substrate for the lower plant communities to grow, the bark of the mature trees and rocky surfaces. So we carry out work to improve the woodland structure, cutting the dense undergrowth, thinning the crowding saplings, especially around veteran trees. This gives the old trees room to breathe, not struggling to compete, and it allows the light, crucially, to fall on their lower branches and trunks where the mosses and lichens like to grow. Some of our rarest and most precious lichens and bryophytes only grow on old trees, as the tree's bark acidity changes as they age. And the mosses also like horizontal branches, like you can see here, ferns and mosses and lichens all growing out of the low fallen branches of this tree. Once some thinning has taken place, we then plan to maintain the open structure we've created by introducing grazing. The grazing has to be carefully planned, using the right type of animal for the woodland and keeping the grazing at low intensity. Highland cattle are great for this job. They're small and easy to handle, they like bramble, they push through the wood, trampling the bracken and making tracks that let light through. And they also like to browse, as you can see on the right. They take ivy and small saplings as well as the leaves from the lower branches, and this opens up the lower story of the woods, benefiting the ground flora and the wood, and birds like pied flycatcher that like an open structure. The animal's dung also encourages invertebrates, which has a knock-on effect for birds too. The grazing needs to be kept at low density, which makes the animals time-consumingly difficult to find for the grazier in the woods. This is one of the ponies of Caermanian, modelling one of our GPS collars, which connect via a mobile phone signal to an app, which enables us to find the animals and records where they've been in the last 24 hours. So it's helping us gather data about their grazing patterns. It can also send an alert if they escape. We hope this method, along with the data, will encourage graziers to see the benefits of woodland grazing. After all, browsing like this is also part of a healthy livestock diet, and the animals appreciate the shelter that woodlands provide. We're also weighing the animals before and after their time in the woods to demonstrate that they don't lose condition, and comparing this to other animals owned by the same grazier, which are on more traditional pasture. We're also weighing these animals over the same time period and hope to demonstrate that woodland grazing can be a useful tool for graziers. Not just grazing with cattle, as you saw in the previous slide, there's ponies on Caermanian, which we're trying to encourage into the woods there. And this slide shows some lovely little Shetland ponies, which we've got grazing on Coedwigoedd, which is a wildlife trust site. The project's original aim was to bring conservation grazing to 234 hectares of woodland, but we're now looking to increase that to over 300. So far, we have 100 hectares with cattle or ponies happily grazing there. There's also a big engagement side to the project. We're looking to involve the public in as many ways as possible to raise awareness of how wonderful and fragile these woodlands are. We've been running lots of events in the woods to try and connect people to them, but before COVID, obviously, including mindfulness workshops, yoga, guided walks, storytellings, and school visits. There's a very active Facebook page. And then there's a lovely, relaxing video on our website, which you might want to take a look at, and that's the URL for it up there. I'll leave you with a lovely picture of one of our Highland cattle up on Coedwigoedd in the Mawddach, enjoying himself in the sun. So that's it from me. Thanks for listening.